Next Lesson Plan podcast, I talk about a lesson that I use with my students based on the Humans of New York photo website and books. And so in this video, I'm going to go over the lesson, how I've used the lesson, and then talk about how you can accompany it with a photo composition lesson as well. This lesson is great if you want to use it in the first week to get to know the students in your class. Again, it teaches interviewing skills and a little bit of writing and can be accompanied with, I always taught it with photography as well because the Humans of New York features always have a photo to go with the writing. So, Humans of New York, just a little bit of background about it. As I mentioned in episode 3, was started by Brandon Stanton as a photography project in 2010. Really, he just wanted to photograph 10,000 New Yorkers on the street and create an exhaustive catalog of the diversity of the city. That has since grown into books and a website and many, many more interviews than he initially sought out to do. This is kind of what it looks like on the website. So you can see that he now has expanded to different countries, different cities, but there's always a picture and then the writing that comes beneath it. So the biggest thing, obviously, he's going up to people on the street in New York City and asking them questions. And in order to get them to respond in the heartfelt ways that he does, he has to create a trusting environment. So he has to chat with them a little bit, explain what he's doing before he just launches into all of these personal questions. So, to create a trusting interview atmosphere in your own classroom, if you wanted to try this, I always tell the students when they're starting an interview with someone is to explain why they're doing the assignment, where the information, if it's going to be published, where that might be, so the participant can choose what they're comfortable sharing if it is going to be published. To always start with a few easy questions first and being upfront about how the questions are going to be used, and if at any point they do not want to share information or they don't want the information published, they can claim it to be off the record. And then you want to make a point that when you are publishing the answers to the questions, you always make a point to get their name, their title correct, to tell them up front if they're not comfortable answering any questions, they don't have to. And then at the end, leaving questions, time for questions from the interviewee as well. Mainly, you want it to be mostly a conversation between two people, and so they don't feel like they're being sort of grilled. And then to show them you value their information by being prepared and engaged and taking good notes. And I always recommend my reporters ask for permission before the interview in order to record the interview so they can get the information correct. So, the other thing, if you want to get good storytelling quotes in your interview, is to know the difference between closed and open-ended questions. So, you might want to start with a few closed-ended questions, which basically are yes or no type questions, or they have a very short response, and then lead into more open-ended questions that allow for more storytelling, and sometimes they're not phrased as questions. It's tell me about something, or can you expand on that, or can you explain to me X, Y, and Z. So an example might be, do you like your boss? The answer would be yes or no. That would be close-ended instead of, can you describe your relationship with your boss? So the open-ended question is going to lend itself to more descriptive storytelling type of quotes. The most common open-ended question is, how does that make you feel? Or could you please explain that in more detail? We always say in journalism that the stories are about people, and we want the story behind the story, so anyone can ask the easy questions. But it takes a good journalist to establish trust and to continue the interview to get to the heart of the matter and really continue to ask those really good questions and have a good conversation where you can go deeper. So for this assignment, because sometimes the students are like, well, what do I even write questions about? I give them a few topics that they could create questions around. And so they can choose one of these and ask multiple questions under the topic, or they can choose a few different topics. If you want to limit that in any way in your lesson, you can do that as well. Again, they want to create a few closed-ended questions to start and then work to more open-ended questions and more of a conversation. So during the interview, after they have prepared the questions, you want to find a comfortable place to conduct the interview. Again, make sure to take detailed notes, get the person's name correct, always ask permission to record if you're going to do that. And then again, when you come back, you're not going to use all of the information. So to choose the best storytelling angle, the best story behind the story, what you think readers would like most, and what you think is the most intriguing part of the story. To go with that, in true Humans of New York style, you would want to take a variety of photos to accompany the story as well. I will do another video on photo composition techniques, so you can watch for that. It'll be 5 simple techniques that you can use to go along with this assignment. This was one of my students when I taught in a summer journalism workshop. This was one of their very short finished pieces. You can see the beautiful photo composition, nice use of angle, nice use of framing there, and nice medium shot, but a little bit close up. So they fleshed out this quote from the interview and paired it together with the photo, looking just like a Humans of New York finished piece. So I hope you have fun with this activity. Again, it's a great icebreaker activity. You could also use it later in the year, just as people are more comfortable with each other and to get more detailed stories. You could also have students try it with a family member at home as well.